Von Vernick is a true Argentinian name.
Very, very
Love
Argentinian. Yeah. Von Vernick.
Welcome to Nice Ashes. Join hosts Mike and Nate for cigars and culture. Let's go beyond the smoke.
What are we smoking, Mike?
We are smoking a Ron Mexico. And the label is awesome. I will say.
I mean, the label's awesome.
The label is cool.
Not so much.
No. I licked the cap before we started recording, and I had a very strong reaction.
And not a reaction of love.
Not a reaction of love. Not at all.
Oh, it reminds me of something, like when you put something in your mouth, something bitter. It's very bitter. It's a bitter cap.
Very bitter. It tastes like something I don't want to do again.
Well, hopefully the cap mellows out a bit.
Ugh. Yeah. It's like chewing aspirin or caffeine pills.
Yeah, the aspirin, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Tylenol or ibuprofen or something. I'm pairing this one with a Founder's Mortal Bloom, a hazy IPA, which is citrusy and tropical, I guess. So it goes well with aspirin.
I have mine with ice water, as always, and I made myself a cocktail. So
nice.
I have a double crown on the rocks with 3 dashes of cacao cherry.
Sounds amazing.
I like it. Pretty simple, but effective.
Yes. Well, what are we talking about, Mike?
As promised, we are going to talk about El Loco, Javier Milei. He's a great guy, this Javier Milei. We're really going to discuss this. He's a real Zelensky, Voldemort Zelensky, this guy. I know it's not really Voldemort. What is his name? It's not Vladimir, is it?
No, it's not Vladimir. It's
like Voldemort. I call him Voldemort. Sounds better.
It's not. Yeah, it's not Vladimir. We said that.
Yeah. Doesn't really.
You
matter.
know, I can't remember.
Tucker Carlson is doing it. Did a little interview about him, and yeah, you should look it up. He's a great guy, real good guy, friend of the show. That guy. Not like Frederick Douglass is a friend of the show. Different kind.
Is the Tucker Carlson piece where you first heard of this guy?
No, Zelensky's, he's the president of Ukraine.
No.
Are we talking about Javier Milei?
Well, Javier Milei, not when was the first time you heard of
First time
Zelensky?
I heard about Javier Milei was when he was running for president of Argentina. And
okay.
He hit the big news with the chainsaw. And then it was everywhere, this guy, at least in our news. Now he's not in the news.
Yeah.
But he did take $40 billion bailout not that long ago and pretty much just gave it away to rich people and put a bunch of poor people out on the street. So real class act.
Volodymyr Zelensky.
Volodymyr. Okay.
Also.
So not that different than Voldemort.
Yeah, not really.
All right. Well, we can get right into it. So Javier Gerardo Milei was born in the Palermo neighborhood of Buenos Aires on October 22nd of 1970. His father was a bus driver who later became a long-haul transport entrepreneur, aka a trucker, and his mother was a homemaker. His family is Italian and Croatian, aka they're whitish.
Yep.
Lower middle class background. He's got a younger sister who is later going to become relevant. She's a younger sister. He was raised Catholic. Not a surprise, right? Not a surprise.
Yep.
Yeah. So his father eventually owned a fleet of trucks, and that afforded his children some private school. And that's how his education began. What do you think about Milei so far, Nate?
Son of a truck driver, has a sister. They're quiet Catholics.
They are. It is noted here that he does not speak to his parents as an adult. He has had no romantic relationships since high school. He has zero friends. We're going through Javier Milei here. We're just giving a breakdown.
Yeah. Okay.
So he does not speak to his parents.
But the question is Javier, when it said he has no romantic relationships since high school, is that what? He's been abstinent since high school, or he's a closeted homosexual and he doesn't talk about that, or he has relationships but doesn't broadcast it?
As we're going to get into, I think we're going to discover what he's into.
Oh, okay.
I think that he is an Epsteiner. He's Epstein class for sure.
Yeah.
And we know what those people are into. And they're real weird. So I don't know what he's really into, but it's not good, whatever it is.
I guess we'll make some moderately educated guesses when we get to that point, huh?
Yeah. We'll make some educated guesses. So his classmates described him as brilliant, easily enraged, and profoundly alone. The teachers called on him when they wanted to stump the class, and he always sat alone at lunch. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Isn't that the guy you want to be your president?
Well, if he doesn't fuck anyone, if he doesn't have any romantic relationships and he doesn't have any friends and so on and so forth, how does he become president is the question.
Oh, we're going to get there.
I know we will. I'm just, we got to tease it out a bit.
So as a youth, by his own account, his only emotional anchor was not his parents or his sister or any friends. It was football, aka soccer. He was a goalkeeper for his junior youth academy team. Apparently, he was good enough that professional soccer was a potential career path, which he trained obsessively for. Eventually, the dream of being a pro soccer player faded away, and it was filled by rock, music, and economics. He's a big proponent of the Austrian theory of economics, and he was a television celebrity before he became president. So his crazed behavior, which I'm sure we're going to get into on television, is what led him to the presidency of Argentina. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Does that sound familiar?
I'm just glad here in America, all of our presidents are completely sane.
Right?
And all you megas sit down. I'm talking about the other side, too.
I mean, if you're a listener to this show and you believe that there are two parties in the United States and not one, I think you need to do some more research.
Or listen to us a little bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's one party of which there are two factions who agree on everything.
Go listen to our Political Compass episode.
Yeah, exactly. One is slightly more authoritarian and right than the other, but they're both there.
Yeah.
Right next to each other. So, Milei was a frontman for a Rolling Stones cover band called Everest as a teenager. Apparently they, played and did local clubs, and that's part of the reason why he has a stage presence. He acts like a crazy, frontman of a rock band.
Rock star soccer player.
Right, exactly. So, Milei attended Collegio Cardinal Copello for secondary school.
I know it well.
Yes. This is an Argentinian Salesian order private school. It's in the neighborhood he grew up in, so it's not that crazy at all. However, it was involved with the military dictatorship of 1976 to 1983, and it was apparently one of the most morally compromised institutions in the country. So, the military junta that seized power on March 24th of 76 disappeared 30,000 people over 7 years. It operated with the explicit theological blessing of Argentina's Catholic Church. On the day of the coup, the bishops' conference met with the military leaders for hours. Afterwards, the Archbishop publicly counseled Argentinians to cooperate in a positive way with the new government. The Church in no way intends to take a critical position towards the action of the government, and he claimed that failure would lead, with great probability, to Marxism. So the Catholic Church, and we could get into that on a different episode, but needless to say, the Catholic Church was hand in hand with the military junta and the mass extermination of dissidents in Argentina in the 70s and 80s, which the former Pope was implicated in. Shocking, really.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's, Catholic priests that were involved. One named Christian von Wernick committed 7 homicides, 42 kidnappings, and 32 tortures. So when I say the Catholic Church,
von Wernick is a true Argentinian name.
Very, very Argentinian. Yeah, von Wernick. So, needless to say, they were involved. And by extension, Javier Milei was exposed to these, crazy, racist genociders, The Catholic Church in Argentina is not that bad. They've only had 300 priests arrested for sexual abuse. Only 90 convictions. It's not that bad.
That's not bad.
The Salesian order has faced many allegations. So nobody knows what happened to Milei in school, but we know what happens in Catholic schools. Apparently his weight has fluctuated throughout his life. This ended his football dream. He likes to read, for all those who love it. And, of course, he loves the Rolling Stone.
Not the Rolling Stone, the Rolling Stones, right?
The Rolling Stones, yes. And so I asked explicitly how this bus driver could afford a private school. Apparently, Javier Milei grew up in an era where the Argentinian government subsidized schooling, which will come up later.
Okay.
And his schooling was paid for by the taxpayer because he was really smart. He could go to a private school.
Yep. Well, and it used to be similar here. I mean, not so much that it was all subsidized, but, a bus driver could afford, back in the 50s and 60s, a bus driver could afford those things.
Well, certainly in the United States.
In the United States. I mean, I'm not well versed in Argentina's socioeconomic, political landscape throughout the decades, but things have definitely changed and maybe not for the better.
All right. So Milei attended the Universidad de Belgrano in 1988. It was a private institution founded in 1964 by business groups who wanted an alternative to the politically active national universities. So it was a private university started by fascists to indoctrinate people into their economic model.
Sure. Is fascism now, is that economic or political? Because they said they wanted to get away from the politics.
Well, fascism is the combination of the government and corporate interest into a singular unit that works for the benefit of both. Similar to how the U.S. government works. I mean,
I was going to say that
like
just
the
like
U.S.
corporations
government
are people.
Yeah, corporations are people, and money is speech. And foreign countries can have lobbies and not
freedom
have
is
them
slavery.
marked. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, freedom is slavery. We need more power for your safety and safety of children. That sort of thing.
The people who won't prosecute the Epstein people, but okay.
Yes. So the university he attended had an explicit mission statement, which was to produce professional economists, lawyers, and administrators oriented toward the private sector and aligned with free market principles, not interventionist economic models that dominated the national universities at the time. So, free markets isn't really free market. It's a market that doesn't protect humans. It's a market that protects corporations. That's what they mean by a free market, right?
Sure.
Don't be confused.
If all the other schools, colleges in Argentina at the time were teaching only one economic model, is it wrong that they started their own?
It is not. But
just necessarily. I mean, maybe the methods that they chose or the model they chose to follow, but I think, and we've said it before on the show, like you can have lots of a diversity of thought is good, even if it's, perfectly imperfect. But the more people that you can talk to and the more different things you can study, maybe is better.
Well, in the context of the 80s, it makes sense because there were socialists who were being funded by the Soviet Union, and there were quote-unquote free market capitalists who were being funded by the United States. And the Belgrano, their faculty were 100% mainstream, Anglophone, Washington consensus economists, right? So they pushed neoliberalism, privatization, deregulation, fiscal austerity, and the IMF, World Bank, Treasury deposits, all the things that we've discussed on the show before as being an extension of U.S. imperialism of that era. Yeah. They were pushing that onto the quote-unquote smartest youth and trying to indoctrinate them into a pro-American ideology, right?
And this is the one that he's going to, right?
He went to Universidad de Belgrano. So Milei qualified on a merit scholarship to attend this university. So the peasants paid for him to go to a school where they trained him to hate the peasants. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's a closed loop. It's wonderful. It's great. I'm so happy. I'm glad we don't do that here.
We're only talking about Argentina.
We're only talking about Argentina, nowhere else. Only Argentina does this, people.
There are no parallels to be drawn from anything else.
There are no parallels to be
just Argentina.
Exactly. It's not like they do the same thing everywhere. Anyway, Milei received 2 postgraduate degrees at the master level. One came from Universidad Torcuato de Tella. I'm certain that I mispronounced that. The UTDT, which is what we're going to call it from now on, was established in 91. It was founded simultaneously with Domingo Cavallo's convertibility plan, which was an ambitious Washington consensus experiment in Argentina. It was also the same year as the Soviet Union collapsed. So the Soviet Union collapsed. The U.S. funded this university to be started, right?
Sure.
American economists declared permanent triumph of market capitalism. The UTDT was built as an institution of the post-Cold War neoliberal order. The faculty were from Harvard, Yale, MIT, Northwestern, and Chicago. Chicago economics is Milei's chosen background.
Sure.
Which,
that was
with
a pretty
exchange
big
programs-
powerhouse.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They also had exchange programs with Georgetown, IESE, don't know what that one is, and then a bunch of other colleges.
Okay. Why does the United States always like preemptively declare wins? Like they declared it was a huge win, right?
I believe we've won in Iran 14 or 15 times now. Hey,
I
That's
know.
what I've heard.
Whiplash, man. It's a lot.
Every Sunday night, we declare victory, and then every Friday night, we declare war. Has nothing to do with the stock market, though.
Yeah, nothing to do with them enriching themselves. It's. I just can't handle winning. That's 14 wins, Mike. That's 14 wins in a row
I can't
in Iran.
handle winning.
So I
Have
can't do it.
we won a war since World War II?
We haven't been at war since World War II, Mike.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We haven't. We haven't. No war. We didn't have a draft.
We're
nothing like that.
Peace-loving country, man.
Yeah,
we don't have
like,
wars anymore.
Guys went to go visit Afghanistan. They got shot at. That was their fault, you know?
Yeah, we sent all these lumberjacks to Vietnam because all the trees were speaking Vietnamese.
Well, you know, I heard that we had to continue fighting the war with Iran because they used one of their buildings to blow up one of our bombs.
Those assholes. Do they know how expensive our bombs are?
It's $6 million. That's what I heard. $6 million a bomb. And they used a building to blow it up, those
What
pricks.
was their building doing there? Come on. Come on, Iran.
Why is it on top of our oil? That's what I want to know. Why would they build their building on top of our oil?
Get your shit together, Middle East.
Not all the Middle East today, just Iran. We're not going to talk about Turkey.
Yeah. And a couple other places.
Yeah. Like, nothing of consequence. Nothing of consequence. So, of course, all the rich people in Argentina backed this big university he went to. The founding university's dean was Gerardo del Polero, who had a PhD from Chicago.
They speak Argentina is Spanish, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so it'd be Dea. Gerardo Dea Polera.
Ugh. Okay. So...
Finally, I can pronounce something.
Yep, you can pronounce something. Dea. I'm going to try to remember
the
that.
double L is a Y sound.
Why don't they just put a Y in there, remove the two L's? It's English, it's not Spanish.
Because they haven't been liberated by us yet, Mike.
I see. Anyway, Dea, the founding dean, explicitly stated that they would train economists, lawyers, and policy professionals who could translate international best practice into Argentine governance. This is coded language for dollarization, privatization, deregulation, reduction of state resources.
Yeah, and this seems like it's a fast track to have, heavy air quotes, educated people to take over leadership positions in the Argentinian government.
Yes, people whose mind were right.
Yeah.
People who were studied under the same people who fucking worked at Yale and Harvard. So we know what Yale and Harvard is like because we know what this college is like, right?
Yep.
Our own quote-unquote leaders, you know, the people who rule over us with an iron fist, those people were trained by the same people that he was trained by, right? Because they believe in privatization and private-public partnerships, aka fascism, and the IMF, and they love all this stuff.
Well, and the other important thing is that these people have been sent there by the United States and presumably some other countries, maybe, and therefore they have international support for taking on government positions within Argentina. So there might be other strings that are pulled if you have a certain education from a certain college, let's say, versus somebody who's in the elections that did not. Not saying elections are rigged.
Well, if you look at the...
Possibly in Argentina, though.
Republican primary results in Ohio, the numbers look Putinesque. Let's put it that way. Ain't nobody getting 79% in a gubernatorial Republican primary if the numbers are real.
Nobody even votes for government, or government. I mean, at some point you don't, but for the governor.
Oh, the primaries?
Well, compared to like the presidential ones.
Right. Well, I mean, the Democrats haven't held a legitimate primary that wasn't compromised for the last 3 election cycles. So we don't even get primaries for president. The parties choose them.
Third party is what I'm saying, but
if
we all do it, it's not stupid. It's not. If we all do it, it's not stupid.
I agree.
It's not left versus right. It's up versus down.
I agree. It's got to be that way. Got to be that way. So Milei attending UTD was important, not because of the education, because they really don't get an education, obviously, right? They're just a bunch of elitists eating babies and raping people and shit.
Yeah.
But what he did get is ties to the small, elite, internationally connected network of Argentinian technocrats that run the government today, right? He went to school with all the people running that country right now because they were trained by America to do what they're doing right now. It's not a surprise that he was backed by our government.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Well, that's what I mean. You go to this United States-backed college to take over the Argentinian government, you're going to be backed by the United States.
Right, right. They're not going to support a peanut farmer or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Perhaps the last legitimate president we had, the peanut farmer. Maybe he was even compromised. He lived an awful long time.
Well, he was compromised for sure, but I don't know to what extent. Certainly not the same extent as other modern ones.
Right, right. Maybe. Hard to say. Hard to say. So, the second institution he got a master's from was the Instituto de Desarrollo Económico y Social.
Wow, this must be what like Mike feels like every time I try and say something that isn't English.
Yeah, there's a lot of letters in those.
The Instituto de Desarrollo Económico y Social.
See, I'm glad that you can pronounce Spanish words because I cannot.
Sí,
obviously.
me gusta.
Right? So this institution occupies a specific niche in Argentinian intellectual life. They're the institutions that train economists to move between the academic world, the state, the international organizations, aka IMF and World Bank, CEDES, the Ford Foundation, major American philanthropic institutions, and serves as a soft power of non-communist civil society. So the first school he went to was funded by Americans and oligarchs to train these guys like Harvard and Yale so they can be fascists.
Yeah.
And this other school he went to is the school you go to if you want to be in the revolving government door that we were all really mad about 20 years ago, but we don't talk about anymore right now.
Sure.
So he set himself up pretty good here.
So do you think he was setting himself up? Was he groomed by somebody else?
Oh, there's a mixture of the two, right? He must have been chosen as a youth, or when he got into college, he must have put up flags that he was a good boy. You know, because you wouldn't be chosen to go to these schools if you weren't already a good boy.
Yeah, you wouldn't be chosen to go to these schools if you did not torture small animals as a child.
Or worse. Yeah.
Well,
basically,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Javier Milei, we're going to cover this pipeline. He had a pipeline from Belgrano to the UTDT to the CEDES. This is not just a sequence of schools. It is the unofficial Argentinian transmission belt for Washington economics. Right?
Yep.
You have private institutions, you get elite credentials, you build an international network, and then, of course, you adopt technocrat policy positions. Right? And he's a product of this intentional perversion of Argentina by our government and the power elite that rule the world. Right? Like,
yeah. I mean, this goes back to, and I was thinking about this earlier and I didn't bring it up because I knew it would come up several times in this episode, but, you know, this sounds a lot like Confessions of an Economic Hitman, but this is like an institutionalized under the cloak of higher education scale. So,
yes. Yeah, it's very much tied in with the economic hitman type stories. Argentina was playing ball, right? Their dictatorship was colluding with our government, basically. So all those murders were sanctioned by not only the Catholic Church, but by the U.S. government. I know it sounds weird to our listeners, but our government isn't the good guy. Very strange.
What?
Very strange. So, Milei's first known political employer was Antonio Domingo Bussi, who was a military officer turned congressman, who was apparently a convicted war criminal. Real weird that a military officer back in that day would be a war criminal. Apparently, he was his economic advisor when he was a congressman. And of course, he used to run detention centers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Milei's first employer ran detention centers. Woo!
I'm making a difference.
Yeah, they're making a difference. Well, when Milei's connection to these detention centers and the, prison guards was exposed, his defense was that Boosie was democratically elected. So, good guy, good guy.
Yeah, just doing what they taught me.
Right. Now, he's got a second connection to this Boosie.
Sure.
Victoria Villarruel. A woman, right? A woman.
Yeah,
Women are good. They can't do bad. She's the daughter of Lieutenant General Eduardo Villarruel.
Villarruel. Yeah. The double R, you got to do that little... That's free of charge, everybody. Free of charge.
So her father was a general who served under Boosie in the detention centers, right?
Yep.
And her uncle was arrested for crimes against humanity. I'm guessing he was also in the military. And her entire legal career was spent defending the war criminals that were running the detention center. So her whole life, all she did was defend these war criminals for being executed.
Yeah. How many of these war criminals had German-sounding last names?
Not Virul.
Well, yeah, obviously not them, but
I know what Bussy sounds like. I'm going to call him Bussy because everybody knows what Bussy is.
Yeah, everybody knows what a good old Bussy is.
We all know what Bussy is. Don't lie to me. Also of note, Milei doesn't publicly support the former dictatorship, but he did work for it, and everybody that he's associated with worked for it, and he's never publicly criticized it. So we're not saying that they're the same. We're saying that they could be.
Yeah.
So there we go. So starting in 2022, Milei became a regular keynote speaker at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference.
I've heard of that.
In Brazil and Mexico, which, of course, was organized by the American Conservative Union. I've heard of that.
Wow.
Which, of course, has ties to the Republican Party.
No.
And other right-wing organizations. Right? He shared a stage with Steve Bannon, the raper. Eduardo Bolsonaro, who's Jair Bolsonaro's son. I believe that he's a war criminal. And Eduardo Verastuigui.
Verastuigui or something, yeah.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Who's an anti-abortionist. Class act. Real class act. Yeah.
Speaking about class acts, Mike.
Yes.
Are you about halfway through the Iran, Mexico?
Not even close. Dude, it tastes like fucking they put dust from a Tylenol in the leaves of the tobacco. I am like an inch in. Like I am nowhere
You're only
close
an
to
inch in. I'm halfway through this fucking thing.
Oh, thank God.
But I think we should go with the episode until Mike finishes his whole cigar, is what we should do.
That is not my plan.
He's the one that put this on the list, I can see it now. I can see it now. This is, I think this Ron, Mexico is actually from Argentina, and it's the brainchild of the flunkouts of this schooling pipeline that Milei went to. And they were like, you know what? Nobody's tried. I mean, you've got the Tatianas, and they've got literally every flavor known to man, but you know what they don't have? Aspirin.
Aspirin.
They don't have the powder coating on any kind of oral pill. They just don't have that. And so we should do that here in this one.
It is. Does it still taste like aspirin halfway through?
It's gotten slightly better to the point where I think after the first 2 inches is when the aspirin kind of wore off, or I just became accustomed to it. And it's not great. It's just, it's the smoke for smoke's sake, I guess. It's not terrible right now, but the beginning is so terrible that there is no way I would smoke one of these again. But it's not as terrible as it was. So it's gotten slightly better, but again, the beginning is so gross.
Right. Disgusting.
Pretty much.
So to sum this section up, at CPAC 24 in Washington, D.C., which Milei attended, he received a copy of Project 2025.
Oh, we covered that.
Remember this? We remember this.
Yeah, we covered it.
Unlike in the United States, where that's just kind of like the Republican Party's plan, this was new for Argentina. So he started implementing the entire list. And since being president, he has closed gender equality programs, defunded anti-discrimination bodies, eliminated comprehensive sex education, withdrew from all the multilateral climate Accords launched mass dismissals of civil servants, which caused the economy to collapse and cost American taxpayers $40 billion, by the way.
Well, we get tons of money for that stuff and bombs. We don't have as money for, student loans or helping the homeless or veterans, but...
Or healthcare or fucking public education or roads.
All those things.
I was pulling my trailer back with a swing set today. I hit the thing so hard, my fucking jack flew off the trailer because the pin came out like a
Jesus.
half-inch wide cotter pin. Fucking busted off. I was going 30 miles an hour in town. I couldn't believe it. I had to stop and go grab the jack off the trailer because the cotter pin broke. Nothing broke. The cotter pin flew out.
Yeah.
And then it all fell apart. So nothing broke, but... It's awful.
I mean,
awful.
My takeaway from that story is Mike's going to do some swinging, but the roads are bad too. The roads are bad too.
Roads are bad too, but definitely swinging in my future.
Swing time
on that swing
in the
set.
backyard
For sure.
You know what Mike's not smoking on that swing set? This fucking cigar.
No, hell no. And then lastly, even though conservatives are supposed to be against centralized authority, in Project 2025, they want to centralize the executive command of all pension adjustments. So now the pensioners, because in Argentina they have public pensions, the government seized the public pensions and froze the payouts.
Of course they did.
From my understanding. That's my understanding.
You know what else conservatives are supposed to be against? Worshipping golden statues of things.
My wife sent me a picture of that. And
right?
It's like, I think one of the memes I got was like, I think the Bible explicitly said something about this.
Pretty clear on this one. Pretty clear.
Pretty clear. Did you get the one where it was that one next to the Saddam Hussein? It was exactly the same fucking statue.
Oh, no, I didn't.
I think Sarah must have sent me that one. But yeah, it was Saddam Hussein and Trump next to each other, exactly the same. It's like, that's a good look. All right. So for 14 consecutive years, 08 to 21, Milei drew a regular private salary as the chief economist to Eduardo Yernikian, Argentina's fourth richest man. So, the Yernikian requested airtime at various TV shows to install Milei in the media. This is how Milei got on TV. He worked for the fourth richest man, and then he paid for him to go on television.
Sure. So Eduardo must have crossed paths with Milei at some point.
I think Eduardo picked up a bitch boy from the ETDT, these two colleges. Right?
Yeah.
He picked up a bitch boy to work for him. Didn't really matter who. Just happened to be this guy.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, this guy's crazy. Why don't we put him on TV to spread misinformation? I think that's what happened.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? And Ernikian was born in Buenos Aires, and he's Armenian. So neither one of these guys are fucking Argentinian, right? This is an Armenian. The other guy's a Croat. Like, they don't belong there, really, when you think about it. Apparently, his family was into textiles, and he was tied in with the military junta that destroyed the country, and all of those things, right? He also owned television stations. Really rich guy. That's really what matters. This guy's super rich.
Yeah.
And I think he was one of the guys that had I can't remember if he was the guy that had a private illegal airport.
Oh, sure.
I know we talked about that guy. I'm not sure if he's the same guy. Yernikian is a regular at the World Economic Forum. He chairs a committee in the World Economic Forum, and he's the CEO of one of the world's largest corporations. Great guy. Great guy.
Oh,
he's also involved with the United Nations.
Why wouldn't he be?
Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? So Yernikian used his media companies to install Milei on Argentinian television. And he went on the air and basically attacked the government and social funding of items, which this Yernikian exploited the socialist system they had to make all of his money. Like, we skipped over his biography, but he used government resources to pool massive amounts of wealth. And then once he got all of his money, he hired this kid that the government paid to go to school to propagandize people there against the government programs that made both of them wealthy and powerful, right? So they're ladder pulling.
Sure.
Their ladder pulling is exactly what they're doing. No, it's not that bad. It's getting better.
Great.
So this Yernikian owns 52 airports that he bought at a steal from the government.
See, like 50 is fine, but once you get over 50, it's kind of like, what do you need all those airports for?
That's awesome. And apparently, Milei is still enacting policies that benefit Yernikian, which isn't a surprise because he worked for him his entire life, right? Basically.
Yeah, and even if he
for years.
didn't, like heavy air quotes, work for him his entire life, Anikian gave him his start, let's say.
Right.
So there will be a huge debt that will likely never be fully paid.
Never. It's kind of like when you kill your first whore at 5 years old and the king, Charles, Prince Charles, he's like, you better not cry when you do it. It's like that, right?
Yeah.
Except Javier Milei and not, Prince William. Exactly what it is.
Yeah. Or like, what is it? The halal food? Like the animal has to know it's being killed or something? Is that what that is?
They have to bleed it out or, there's a lot of weird shit. I don't know. I'm not into that weirdness. I don't.
Yeah. I was trying to do things, nice for all parties, as nice as possible.
Right. Exactly. So we're going to speed through some of this, but Javier Milei has ties to the Atlas think tank, which is tied in with the Koch brothers and a bunch of British bankers, aka the Rothschilds.
Sure.
So he's tied in with the Rothschild Foundation. He's tied in with the Koch Family Foundation, which we all remember the Koch brothers, right? The John Templeton Foundation, ExxonMobil, MasterCard, Pfizer, Procter & Gamble, Shell. He's tied in with all of these big companies and their think tanks. He's received money.
These are
from
big.
them.
These are big people, Mike. They're corporations. Corporations are people.
Corporations are human beings.
To remind
yes, they
you
are.
of that.
They are human beings. They're the real people that matter in this country, Nate. All right, and their lives matter.
I'm correcting you. Can't correct me. Correcting you.
I'm sorry. Yes, correct me. I'm sorry. Black lives do not matter. Corporate lives do. All right. And they're the only lives that matter. Just ask the president.
Indeed. Or his golden statue.
Or his golden statue. It tracks. It tracks. So he banned a bunch of LGBT stuff. Very socially conservative, this guy.
Sure.
All right.
Guess who's not saying the word salad mouth vomit that Canada says for that group of people? Argentina.
So, in 1989, Argentina experienced hyperinflation, and Milei focused on this strongly. He talks about it in most of his speeches, a lot of interviews, and it's a big part of his theoretical framework. And his version of the story is that the government printed the money and caused the inflation. End of story. No more questions. That's all you need to know. The government printed the money, the crazy dictatorship that he fucking worked for, by the way.
Well,
and all of his associates worked for. So him and his friends printed money and caused hyperinflation. That's what he says. And that is
and they
really
benefited.
bad.
But I mean, that's pretty much what happens.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my cigar went out.
Oh, no. But that's not the full story, right? Like, you print too much money, then you get inflation, hyperinflation. But, I mean, think of all of the technology and stuff that we have, even in the 90s, right? But especially today, when you get these inflation and high gas prices and other things, like, it's not just because they're printing money. I mean, it is because they're printing money, but why? Why are they printing so much fucking money? Why are they causing the inflation or hyperinflation?
Right. So we are going to break down a little more in depth this hyperinflation. So the military junta from 76 to 83 deregulated the economy. This is going to sound really familiar for you guys who have listened to this show before. They deregulated the financial sector, opened the economy to imports, and then a massive amount of money left the country instantly. Like the rich people moved it out, right? The private sector heavily borrowed from international banks, right? Including OPEC money. They got OPEC money in. The economy collapsed in 82. And then their finance minister socialized the private debt. And they transferred $20 billion in corporate and financial debt to the government. Does that sound familiar, Nate? Real weird. These corporations went bankrupt, and then the government said they were too big to fail, and then they took all their debt and put it on the taxpayers. You know, the ones that the corporations were just fucking crushing? Those people have to pay for the debt. It's great. It's great. Really happy. I was really, I'm just such a fan of that. So this debt put the Argentinian government into a catastrophic fiscal position, especially considering they just deregulated and brought in imports and they're lowering their tax base and all that sort of stuff. Isn't that great?
Well, I mean, so on one hand, like deregulation sounds really good, right? It sounds really good, but in practice, it only ever happens when other people want to basically rape something for their own gain.
Right. It's not a coincidence that we bailed out all the big banks, right? Now they're ruling over us. All their debt that should have crushed them became our debt. They were debt free.
Yeah.
And now they own us.
Well, and it's funny,
right?
all the places that loaned out student loans, a lot of them went bankrupt and got bailed out, and guess who still owes fucking student loans?
Right. People do. How do you go bankrupt on loans that have 6.8% guaranteed interest that cannot be defaulted on and will be automatically paid on death of the person that holds the loan? That's what I want to know. That's crazy mismanagement.
Well, yeah. Fucking
Crazy
lot of cocaine parties that you and I weren't invited to, I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm. So this debt was exacerbated by the U.S. raising interest rates to 20%. And they did that to crush inflation in the United States, of course. But it affected Argentina's ability to service its debt because their loans went up. This caused a cycle of taking out IMF loans that were unpayable, basically, to cover the debt that they took out, that the corporations convinced the government somehow, magically, not through eating babies and rape, but convinced the government to take on. So they took on so much debt, they couldn't fucking pay it. Then the interest rates shot through the roof. Then they took out a series of loans from the IMF that were not payable for debt that was not the government's debt.
Yep. Confessions of an economic hitman. I mean, legitimately, this is what they did.
This is what they did. But this was part of the plan.
Yeah.
Right? This is part of the plan.
Nobody should be surprised.
The government implemented a wage freeze, which was backed by the World Bank, right?
No. You're kidding me.
Yep. And then creditors refused credit to the government. Even though they'd done everything they were supposed to do according to these guys, right?
The plan.
They had wage freezes. They had everything going on. Austerity, which is coming to America, by the way.
Yep.
It's coming.
Can't wait.
We have too much debt. We have too much debt.
Not we, but, the government.
Yeah. Well, our federal government has too much debt, most of which is for, like, murder. That feels good, right?
It's fair. I mean, we're going after all these countries' oil. I thought Trump seized Venezuela's oil. He's personally profiting because he has all the checks going to his bank account or some shit. And gas is still fucking through the roof.
Oh, yeah. They're not drilling more oil in North Dakota. I can tell you that. I was just there.
Yep.
It'll happen.
Mike just checked North Dakota, which doesn't exist. He checked the entire state.
Doesn't exist.
They're not drilling any oil there.
Well, I happen to know some people in the industry.
I know. I'm just giving you grief, dude.
I know.
I'm just giving you grief.
I happen to know some people in the industry. They're busy, but they're not going gangbusters like it was last time.
Yeah.
So we're in a super cycle. It'll happen in a couple years. It'll pop off. If you guys want jobs, they'll get them. But anyway, in 1989, the Bush administration withdrew its support for the Argentinian government, right? This caused financial backing to evaporate, and the federal government's dollar reserve disappeared. Within a couple months, inflation reached 200%, then 5,000%, because the government had no support from anybody. They were deep in debt and they had to print money. And this cycle is what Javier Milei said, it's the government's fault they printed money.
Classic.
Sounds a little more complicated than that to me, pal. Not that I know anything about it. So in 1989, they elected a new government, quote unquote, and they were going to tie the peso to the dollar 1-for-1, which, by the way, for those who aren't paying attention to Milei, that was one of his big policy goals, was to tie the Argentinian peso to the dollar. So because they were experiencing inflation through the same fucking debt cycle.
Yeah.
Just later, 20 years later, right? Or 30 years later. It's exactly the same thing.
Well,
He's like
new
the
to
cleanup
them.
crew.
It's not a new car. It's new to me. It's new to them.
Yeah, exactly. So this guy in 1989, he tied the peso to the dollar, privatized the state oil company, state telephone company, water utilities, post office, airlines, and the airports, which, again, the person who benefited the most from all of this was Eduardo Yernikian, the guy who hired Milei and put him on TV. This guy bought up all those assets as they were privatized. So the private business pushed all their debt onto the government. The debt basically made the government go bankrupt. Then they had to sell government assets, and the private corporations that just had all their debt taken by the government, they bought all the government assets at a reduced rate with all the money they didn't have to pay to the debt. Pretty nifty. Pretty nifty.
Pretty slick. Almost like burning down a state forest and having it automatically be reclassified as developmental property or some shit.
Mm-hmm. So this caused a major boom, and then, of course, a bust. And Milei stated openly that this guy, Menem, who did all this stuff, he was the best Argentinian president in history. This guy.
Classic.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Well, nobody likes a smear campaign, Mike.
Starting in the early 2000s, Milei started as a TV pundit. He was a regular fixture by 2010. And by 23, he was very famous. Right?
Sure.
He
Ronald
is
Reagan level.
He is beloved. He's kind of like Donald Trump in that way. And Ronald Reagan.
Too.
He's like a person. Yeah, people loved Trump on TV. He's a famous asshole person, right?
Yeah.
They loved him.
Crazy that he's that in office.
Yeah, right. He has an alter ego that he created called General ANCAP, which is short for anarcho-capitalist. And he believes that, or this alter ego is a superhero, and he denounces Keynesian economics, wants to expel the collectivists from Argentina, and he, of course, swears a lot and talks about himself like the second coming of Christ. So this Javier Milei on TV, right, has a personality, or TV personality, where he's like a superhero, where he spouts off all this crazy nonsense. It's great. We're going to get it. We're going to get more into his weird behavior later.
Sure. I don't know how much later, because I've only got about 3 inches left, and the middle part was fairly decent, but now I'm just smoking an ibuprofen capsule is what I'm doing. So,
oh, there we go. I have 4 inches left, so I'm catching up to you.
Nice.
He's got to slow down. It's terrible. Truly is terrible. So 23, he ran his presidential campaign after being this big TV star and doing all these antics on television. You can look him up. You know, he dresses like a rock star and he has these superhero alternate personalities, like variety show, comedic type of deals. And then
when you say rock
scenes,
star, you mean like rock star cover band rock star and not actual rock star.
Like leather jacket and too much makeup and chains on his neck. You know, the Mr. T starter kit type of shit.
Yeah, Steven Tyler starter kit kind of shit.
Yeah, people of a certain intellectual capacity find him very entertaining.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
It's not supposed to be a documentary.
Well, yeah, it's not supposed to be a how-to.
So in 23, which is when he ran for president, which is when I became aware of him, he ran the first global presidential campaign in Argentinian history. He, of course, famously went on stage with the chainsaw. He shouts a lot. He wants to abolish the central bank, dollarize the economy, reduce the number of ministries from 18 to 8, and privatize the entire government. Does this sound similar to a recent campaign in this country? Sounds really similar.
I remember blank, Mike.
Strange.
Some kind of like meme doge kind of thing, right?
Yeah, nothing to like.
There was a chainsaw involved with that, wasn't there?
There was. Yeah, the chainsaw. Elon Musk. Oh my God. He's something else, I tell you. Too bad his grandfather was like a technocrat from Canada that wanted to dominate the whole world and make Greenland part of North America in like a continental empire. Kind of like what the president's doing now.
Weird how that happens.
Similar but different. Very strange. It's almost like it rhymes. Isn't it strange? My bet, listener, is that if I did a dossier like this on every president of every country, it would look exactly the same. Isn't that weird? I bet I could do it. I bet that every one of these fuckers' backgrounds is the same. It's just not the, University del la 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 la. It's going to be whatever it is in their country where the CIA is running it. Whatever it is in that version of it, that's where they're from. All across the whole globe, more or less. And if it's not them, it's the Soviet Union doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily all one evil group, right? It's multiple branches of something.
It's probably all the same evil group, but they're just acting in lots of different places.
Well, I think the Uniparty exists amongst the shadow government as well, right? Like they don't necessarily get along, but they're not going to destroy each other. They're going to destroy us.
They're not going to torpedo one another.
Right. So, as previously discussed, Argentina had a free public university system. It produced 5 Nobel laureates. Every
Gotta get rid
doctor,
of it.
scientist, and lawyer and engineer in Argentina went to the public education system. All of it was for free. Buenos Aires was called the Paris of the South because of all of the foreigners that came to go to university for free there, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 24, the University of Buenos Aires had to declare a financial emergency after the federal government, or the national government there, froze its budget at 23 levels. In real terms, due to inflation, that was a 71% cut, right? Because Milei caused 289% inflation his first year as president.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
By design.
Well, we're not going to say that. I mean, it appears that it would.
I mean, I'm not going to say that. I'm not Argentinian.
That's awesome. So, on April 23rd of 24, 500,000 people rose up in protests.
Did it work,
Up to
Mike?
1 million.
Did it work?
It did not.
Gee, it's almost like France figured out how to make protests work. I don't know, though. I don't know.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? In 24, their Congress passed a law tying their budgets to inflation. Milei vetoed it. He called the increases for teacher salaries unjustifiable and labeled the lawmakers fiscal degenerates. After, by the way, this guy caused 289% inflation. He's calling people who want to pay the university staff degenerates, right? So this is where we're at. Okay? The Congress attempted to override it, and they were 6 votes short to override it. Ooh.
Stuff to override.
The average salary of a university professor after the freeze is $320 a month.
Is that American dollars, or is that like
300
pesos?
American dollars? 300
Okay.
American dollars. Yeah. Well, they wanted to increase the salaries by, I look at the percentage, 71%, I think.
Sure.
Which 289% inflation. So it's not like they were going to get.
Well, and 71% is the same amount of the cut that happened.
Yes, 71% was the cut. Yeah, exactly. They were just trying to keep it flat.
Yep. How dare they?
Between 23 and 25, education spending has dropped in real dollars by 30%. Teacher training programs have been cut by 40%. Childhood education has been cut by 60%. Scholarships for low-income students, like Milei, like he got, have been cut by 40%.
I got it, but now you fuckers don't.
Now, Milei, while cutting all this, bragged about a fiscal surplus for the government. Remember, he got a $40 billion bailout. That's how he got a surplus. He got a bailout by our government. That'll never be paid back.
No. Why would it?
At least not to us.
Well, we got tons of money, Mike, here. We got tons of money.
Yeah, we got tons of it, dude. We got tons of it. Now I got to go buy a new fucking pin for my trailer lift thing.
So, like, honestly, though, like, how much is a cutter pin?
Like
but
I already have one. I probably already have one.
But I mean, how much do you pay in fucking road tax every time you fill up your fucking car for the goddamn roads that you drive the car on that you're already taxed when you buy the car, when you get your tabs, all the shit, dude. Fix the fucking potholes. I swear to God,
$100 for like 16 gallons of gas for my tanks to fill up my like mowers and shit.
Yeah, just get some screaming goats. Man.
Yeah, I think they need to start doing non-road tax gasoline so I can put it in my off-road vehicles.
Yeah.
And then I'll fill it with a slip tank. They can even dye it. That's fine. My truck's old enough.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the juicy details. This one's you're really going to love it.
Gotta make it. We gotta go through it. I mean, I got
3 inches, 4 inches left.
2 inches left.
Yeah, we got time. So,
but it's terrible. It's terrible.
It doesn't matter how terrible it is, Nate. We got to smoke it all.
I understand. For the fans.
For the it might get better. Honestly,
Keith.
Halfway through, it did get a lot better.
It did get a lot better, but it's going to get fucking worse.
So, Javier Milei, do you know what a rug pull is? A crypto rug pull, Nate?
Isn't that what the Haktua girl did and fucking the Trump phones? That was a rug pull.
Yes. So a rug pull, for the listeners who don't know, is they build a cryptocurrency, and then the owners of this currency, they get all the stock. And then they advertise it. People from the outside buy it. The price of the crypto coin rises. And then the original investors will sell it all, right? Sell it all. And then they profit. And then the coin collapses because all these base coins are somehow tied in with the value of the coin. Is that correct, or am I misrepresenting it, Nate?
No, I think that's how that goes.
Okay. So, October 24, Milei meets representatives of the KIP Protocol, which is a Singapore blockchain venture company. Milei has worked with these gentlemen since 21. In January 25, apparently one of these other venture companies claimed that he had control over Milei and can arrange paid promotions through him.
Okay.
February 25, Milei makes a post on X pumping the Argentinian Libra coin, right? So he advertises it, right? The market cap exceeds 4.4 billion.
And he's still president at this time.
He is president at that time. He's still president now.
Oh,
okay. 74,000 investors, right? $4.4 billion cap, right?
Sure. I mean, I guess if you're a chainsaw wielding fucking crazy guy, people don't impeach you.
So, once this cap pushes up, the 9 founding investors withdrew from the fund. They cashed it out. And within 5 hours of the pump, the coin lost 94% of the value. And that's how the rug pull works. They pump it, it peaks, and they pull. They sell it off. And it's like quick. Like that. Just couple hours. So, Milei...
And it's legal, apparently.
It's apparently... Well, the Trump administration has been accused of doing it multiple times. People involved with the Trump administration have been accused of doing it multiple times.
But nobody's been arrested?
Oh, yeah. So, later, Milei removed the tweet and claimed to have just learned the details, though he had 4 months of working with these guys, one of whom claimed to own him, kind of like Epstein claimed to own that prostitute who was going to have a baby for him every 8 years so he could never run out of an 8-year-old girl to molest. Like that. You know, the president's friend, Epstein? I don't know if you've heard of him or not. You know, his buddy.
I've heard of Epstein. I haven't really heard of the president, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's this international ambassador. This is a Poli guy. He was working with Epstein to provide girls, and he works for the Trump administration. It's really good. Also, apparently Melania, too.
Wait, was that Trump guy the one that grabs all the women by the pussy?
I believe so.
Because that's like the hallmark of a stand-up good person, right?
I mean, he was a gentleman at my last Thanksgiving.
I mean, he didn't grab your pussy, so how bad can he be?
He did grab my pussy, but
well, the pussy, not the pussy.
I deserved it. Yeah, I was dressed like a whore.
Yeah, and he autographed it, right? And then you could sell it later for more.
Exactly. To
all the straight conservative men out there. Oh, nobody cheered. Nobody stood up for that one. Weird.
So, when called out for this, Milei said, I didn't promote it. I spread it. If you go to a casino and lose money, what claim do you have? And he was colluding with the people who owned it. That's all right. He's not a bad guy.
It's all good. He's president.
Apparently, he's being investigated for it. They issued a report that concluded that he, committed fraud. But he's not going to be in trouble. So
why would he be?
Why would he? Exactly. Why would he? August 25, his sister, who is best buddies with him, was exposed in a kickback scheme, including pharmaceutical companies, where she allegedly generated $500,000 to $800,000 a month. And apparently, on tapes, he was told that this was happening.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything about it. Real weird. And a federal judge ordered a bunch of raids, and they collected a bunch of cash. And, he fired some people. And he claimed that the recording was a Russian op. Not that he denied it, but that the Russians exposed him.
Sure. Damn Russians. Ruining all of our Harvard and Yale fun in Argentina.
Pretty cool. And then in October 25, he helped protect a drug dealer. Typical. Oh, yeah. April 25, the IMF gave his government $20 billion. This is the 23rd IMF deal since 58. It is the most receiving country of IMF dollars. It's great. Yeah. World Bank and the International Development Bank gave him $22 billion later again. And then, a couple weeks later, he received $40 billion from our government. So when I said $40 billion, what I really meant to say was $82 billion, but only 40 we're directly responsible for. The other 42, that's through the IMF and the World Bank.
Yeah, which is also probably largely subsidized by us.
Right. So this guy, through free market capitalism and reduction of force of government workers, created such a debt crisis or such a government crisis that he needed $82 billion to float the government. That's what happened.
But it wasn't really to float the government, was it, Mike?
I mean, it's to float the corrupt fucking...
Yeah, I mean, the claim was to float the government, but it wasn't really all used to float the government.
Well, his sister's taking that $500,000 a month. It's not even that much money. That's what's so sad about these politicians is that they're funneling billions and they're taking like scraps. Like they're getting a couple million a year out of this billions of dollars that they're wasting.
But then you think of like the average Argentinian or the average American or the average whereverian, right? And these people are taking these things and they're like, oh, however can we make ends meet? And it's like, you're getting like $3 million a year from just doing nothing, just knowing the right people. And you've got people that have 3, 4, 5 jobs and they're struggling and they can't do it. You know, like that's what's messed up. That's the messed up part.
Yeah. So according to these big international organizations, Argentina has the worst performing economy via 90 global benchmarks in the world. You know, the government that he just made better by destroying that one. It was great. Trump made public statements in support of Milei. He also threatened Argentina. He said, if Milei loses, we are not going to be generous at Argentina. So this was considered a big international incident because the U.S. president threatened, kind of threatens a population in a democratic election, alleged a democratic election. You know, one of those deals.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a theory, and we are going to discuss the evidence, and this will be the quick version.
All right.
So the thesis is that Milei is a fake populist. Strange.
No.
And that he was not a spontaneous expression of popular frustration, but he was instead a person who was aligned with elite interests, identified, funded, and platformed, and guided by those elite interests from the beginning, and that the populist rhetoric was a product that was selling, not the actual content of the character.
I don't know why both can't be true.
Well, in a perfect world, you know. So, our evidence to support that Javier Milei is a fake populist. This does not necessarily apply to any other fake populist that we might know of. Just him. He was employed for 13 years by Ernikian, who installed him on TV. This same billionaire who gobbled up these TV networks and airports and everything when the government sold them all off to pay for the debt that they took on from private business.
And then they still had a bailout later.
Yeah, exactly. And then they had a bailout later. His policy program was, in fact, not his own, but came from the Atlas Network, which, of course, we talked about Coke and Exxon tobacco companies, Big Pharma. They created his political platform. We are aware of this. The campaign received institutional and network support from CPAC, the Heritage Foundation, and other right-wing groups, American right-wing groups.
Sure.
His economic program of privatization, dollarization, deregulation, capital liberalization serves the interests of the foreign investors who hold the bonds. And it aligns with the Ernikian holding firm privatization, right, and extraction companies that want the resources. The U.S. government directly intervened in the election, simultaneously giving $20 billion to the government to float it, while also having the president of this country threaten the population there. The U.S. CIA director and Southcom commander, Southcom is like the Southern Command of the military, visited Argentina post-election. Argentina, coincidentally, purchased American military hardware and began constructing a joint U.S.-Argentine naval base. And also applied for NATO partnership, all within the first 2 years of him being president. Very strange, very strange.
Mm-hmm.
And the Argentinian economy is being systematically deindustrialized, with manufacturing, construction, employment collapsing, while extraction in mining and agriculture expanding, enriching foreign capitalists and local oligarchs. Very strange. Very strange. Now, as we discussed, I'm going to skip this section, Nate, if you're following along.
Oh,
this
I'm following.
is following the whole pattern. We have a pattern. South America has been systematically effed over by the United States. So every time you look at, an illegal alien from the southern part of the continents here, realize that our government created the crisis that caused those people to need to migrate here for work, right? That is not saying I want them here. That is saying we have to understand that those individuals are being crushed by the same government that's crushing us.
Yep.
We're brothers with them.
And these people are probably being crushed to help crush us. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason they're showing up here, and we're crushing them, and they're showing up here as well.
Is to crush us.
Oh, well, yeah. And also, real quick for our listeners, this compendium or these notes will be on our Patreon for free. So if you want to download them and look upon them as this episode, or, peruse it for the things that we kind of briefly went over for time's sake, it's all there. It's all there.
Right. And there's a little thing about Simon Kuznets, who developed this nation state theory we always talk about. And Argentina pretty much proves it wrong because it's got all the factors to be a wealthy country. And yet somehow it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Okay,
strange.
So we're going to talk about Milei. This is your fun little facts. These are fun little facts.
Right.
This is weird stuff. This will be the entertainment section of today's show. Javier Milei, Mr. El Loco. He has experienced profound childhood trauma, extreme isolation, and he is unusual, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has described his parents as being dead to him. He has had no long-term romantic relationships ever. He, by his own account, has spent more than a dozen consecutive Christmases and New Year's Eves alone.
Not even with Eduardo?
Not even with Eduardo. His most intimate relationship was with a dog.
All right.
Okay. So, Conan is Milei's English Mastiff. Unfortunately, Conan died in 2017. R.I.P. Conan. I'm sure you were not involved with his lifestyle.
Not.
I know my dog is pretty smart, but I don't think she's quite smart enough to be involved in my business. Milei described Conan as his literal son and the truest, greatest love of my life. He has spent $50,000 with Perpetuate Incorporated in Hawaii to clone Conan. 5 surviving puppies named Murray, Milton, Robert, Lucas, and Conan II, all named after economists, by the way. Murray, Rothbard, Milton Friedman, Robert Lucas, and of course, Conan. The dogs constitute what Milei publicly describes as his shadow cabinet. Each has been assigned a portfolio and is consulted on relevant decisions.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. After Conan's death, Milei engaged a person named Celia Melamed, who is a Buenos Aires practitioner and telepathist, to contact Conan posthumously. In their sessions, Conan conveyed that he had not really died.
Sure.
He sits next to God to protect Milei, and God has assigned Milei a mission to become president of Argentina and save the country from Keynesian statism. Remember, he, through free market capitalism and privatization and all the little buzzwords that we're supposed to hear and like, crashed their economy to where he had to get an $82 billion bailout.
So when you said that Conan now sits beside God to protect Milei, I took it to mean that Conan was protecting Milei from God.
Oh,
and God wants to smite Milei or something.
We're going to get into that. He was raised Roman Catholic. We're going to get into that.
Sure.
It's going to come up. Milei had his sister trained under this seance person, Meladim, her guidance. And his sister Karina is now his primary interspecies medium. She guides him through communications with living and deceased dogs. Remember, Karina is also the Secretary General of the Argentinian presidency, which is the most powerful unelected position in the government. She's also been credibly accused of embezzling $500,000 to $1 million a month. And again, this is all documented. These are not made up lies. This is documented.
Yeah.
When his press secretary was asked about the dogs, he said that it was disrespectful. However,
All right.
on his presidential baton, he's got pictures he's got the names of his dogs engraved on it.
Sure.
Which I love my dog, but I'm not asking her for advice. So Milei appears to believe he is a messiah and has said publicly that he was sent to it. He has claimed that he communicates with the spirits of Ayn Rand and Murray Rothbard. He believes that in a previous life he was a gladiator in the Colosseum who refused to fight a lion that is also the spirit of his former dog Conan.
Sure.
And believes that he and Conan are traveling through time together. And will be together again in rebirth.
Very well, maybe.
He has converted spiritually from Roman Catholicism to Judaism. This is going to be interesting, people. This all ties in. I'm trying to have a theme here, right? There's a theme, guys. Think about what we've heard in the past. He has spiritually converted to Judaism, studying the Talmud with rabbis and self-describing as spiritually Jewish. He has wept at the Western Wall, and he did that on his first state visit. He is the first non-Jew to win the Genesis Prize, which I've never heard of, but apparently it is a Jewish Nobel Prize in, I'm going to guess, Israel, right?
Probably.
He has aligned Argentina with Israel, appealing to the wealthy and influential Argentinian Jewish diaspora, securing positive coverage in international media, which I think is their way of saying that Jews run the media. But we don't know.
I don't know about that.
I think as a famous person, famous comedian named Kurt Metzger says, Jew runs the media. Because there's like 6 people that own all U.S. media who happen to be Jewish. But there's really only 6. So it's like 6 dudes. That's not
rocket
crazy
science.
Here.
It's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science. There's 6 dudes that own all of it, and they are all Jewish. That does not mean that all Jewish people are somehow involved in a conspiracy. Like, let's be clear, 100% serious. Like, there's 6 people who are Zionists, Jews, who own the shit. Like, it's, I don't think your local butcher is involved. Yeah. That's crazy talk, right? That's as crazy as talking to the dog. So, Milei has an extremely short fuse, often escalating to a level of rage that is uncommon. The rage is reported as authentic, sudden, and frequently disproportionate, not performative. He sometimes has dissociative fixation when confronted with emotional triggers.
Sure.
One of the most talked about moments that he had on TV was when a producer, without warning, showed Milei a photograph of Conan mid-interview. Again, this is his dog, right? Milei stopped, he stared at the screen and repeated, "That's Conan. It's Conan. That's Conan," for several minutes while the interviewer attempted to move on and continue the interview.
Why would the interviewer do that?
I think to fuck with him because he's like a wacko, right? Everybody knows.
Sure,
right? He's a wacko. He has publicly described his political opponents as rats, human excrement, fucking lefties, imbeciles, and traitors. He's famous for this. That's why he got into the meme wars of 23, right? He was very aggressive and unpleasant and hilarious. He describes his enemies as forces of wokeness and cultural Marxism. Where have we heard those terms before, people? That must be eradicated. I love it, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Like I say, I'm not saying it's all connected, but it rhymes. And it seems to be all connected. I'm just saying, it just seems like there's some stuff. So, coming to the end here, His party did win the 25 midterms. You know, the ones where the U.S. government both simultaneously bribed and threatened.
Yep.
So, poverty reached 57%. Inflation reached 300%. There's been a 40% real wage reduction for university professors. 250 scientists left the country in a single year. Disability funding was cut, by the way. That disability funding is where his sister was stealing money from, just so you know, right? Pensions have been denied inflation adjustments with the 300% inflation, 289, I believe was the exact number. He did a rug pull of 74,000 investors. He allegedly made $251 million personally on that rug pull. That's a hell of a rug pull.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a rug pull, right? The Anti-Corruption Investigation Task Force was dissolved by him by presidential decree. The leading Buenos Aires midterm candidate connected to U.S. drug trafficking was bailed out. Apparently, he's been involved maybe with drug trafficking, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. That's the first I heard of this, so that might be made up. I don't want to make up anything. That's not what we're doing here, right? That seems a little late in the game to be bringing that up. Mr. AI, computer generated stuff. Remember, we're using AI to generate all these documents, but the facts, I mean, we have sources. We have sources. Yep. So, in conclusion here, because we've covered everything, Javier Milei is a total tool of the U.S. deep state. And I would venture to guess every client state of our country is the same, right? And I would think that every government has leaders very similar. Like Macron, we know he's dirty. He's got his own background. The former prime minister of Canada, he's got some dirt. All these guys who are running these countries are all tied in with the shadow government. The shadow government being these, billionaire people that back them. That's who's really in control. These policies don't benefit Javier Milei as much as they benefit his financial backers. And they're the big corporations and the people that run them. And I think
they benefit him, but not to the same extent.
Right. I mean, he made $250 million. So that's a lot. And his sister's been making $500,000 to $1 million a month. So that's a lot. It's not like they're not making money. No, as you say.
It's beneficial to them, but it's more beneficial to Eduardo.
More beneficial to the people who are getting all the benefits of the bailouts.
Well,
and
the people, the people that backed him and put him where he is, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Like the owners, our owners. We are slaves.
Class.
They own us, right? The nobles, the nobility. It's exactly the same as it was 1,000 years ago. They just don't call themselves barons anymore. Unless you're Baron Trump.
Well, they would if they could, but
they would if they could. So I thought that Javier Milei talking with his dog's spirit and claiming that they have been tied in history together throughout time was awesome. Like, he's got to be an autist, right? Got to be.
You got to be something, man.
Yeah, if he believes it. And he's converting to Judaism, which I thought was not coincidental.
Yeah, I don't know how big they are on the reincarnation thing, but
from what I understand, they don't really believe that. I don't know. There's so many different sects of Judaism.
Well, that's true
where
too.
Things get really complicated. We should have, if Simha would be willing, it'd be interesting to talk about all the sects of Judaism because, his little subsect is not the majority; it's a minority.
Yeah.
But there's all these different subgroups, just similar to Christianity.
Where, there's subgroups of everything. And some certain groups of almost every major religion has some sort of reincarnation thing, because that's a common humanity trope, right? I don't know about trope, I like belief, or, there are people that believe fully that they are Catholic, but they also believe in reincarnation, or they believe they are Jewish, but they also believe in reincarnation, or they believe they're, almost any religion. I mean, just pick a religion. It doesn't matter. You could also be atheist and believe in reincarnation. You know what I mean? So I think it's a belief that transcends religion or other things.
Yep.
Potentially.
And the last sentence the AI put out, which I think is very interesting. The chainsaw, it turns out, was never aimed at the cast. It was always aimed at the people the cast had spent decades refusing to fully serve. The cast is fine. They own the airports.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty ominous.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I wanted to discuss Javier Milei. He came up previous episode, and I think he's a real prototypical for a politician.
Yeah.
And I would bet that every member of Congress and every member of the Senate, maybe not every, maybe 90%, have backgrounds very similar to Milei in one way or the other. It'll be through some academy or some connection through Fort Huachuca, or they'll all be tied in to this shadow government that we know exists, right?
Yeah.
Whitney Webb's talked a lot about it. We know there's a world shadow government, and they are the ones who are ruling us. And we're not really supposed to talk about it a whole lot. However, we are going to anyway. Because why not? You know, we have 12 listeners, so who gives a shit? Maybe we have one
13.
listener. We have Keith. We have Keith and Chris, and those are the two listeners that we have. Maybe Al, right? So it doesn't really matter.
Well,
so
I know we
kinda
also
converse.
have Nick and Brittany and Dev. So we've
well,
got at least
thank you.
Whatever that means. Math-wise.
Yeah, now they can, the people who don't know me can think I'm crazy, and the people who already do know I am.
There you go.
I'm just a crazy person, not suicidal.
Yeah, and not chainsaw wielding. So
not chainsaw, not chainsaw wielding.
What do you give this cigar, Mike?
Oh, Nate. So it was awful.
It was terrible. I might have to change mine to lower, but I'm looking at the Fidalgo, and we hated that, and this is bad.
I'm gonna give it a 1. I'm gonna give it a 1, and here's the reason.
Yeah,
I was not expecting it to be good.
Sure.
If I was expecting a cigar to be good, and then it was this bad, that's when it can get the 0.75 or the 0.5, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting Ron Mexico to be a good cigar.
I mean, yeah.
However, I was not happy when the first half tasted like aspirin. The middle section tasted like soggy cigar, and the end tasted hard to describe the taste.
Yeah, but even more like soggy aspirin or something. I don't know. It was
like,
the last bit was
burnt
terrible.
Tire. It tasted like a burnt
much.
tire.
Yeah.
Like burning rubber. It was awful.
Yeah.
Horrible.
It was not good. Not good.
Horrible.
I
Never,
put a 1 initially,
ever.
and then I was going to drop it lower, but then you put 1. I'm like, 1 is fair. I mean, the middle part wasn't terrible, but it was. I mean, the middle part was terrible, but it wasn't as terrible as the start. So I was kind of lulled into a false sense of security. You know what?
The end was worse than the beginning.
You know what? I'm just going to give this a 0.25 because this was fucking terrible, and I hated it. And fuck it. Like, the Fidalgo was bad, but it wasn't this bad, I don't think.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Every bit of this.
And
like, you know what? I'm going to lower it down.
Yeah, the Primeros, we gave a 1. I feel like whatever the fuck that was, and that was only a couple episodes ago, I feel like whatever the Primeros was could not have been this bad.
I'm lowering mine to a 0.5.
Nasty.
I'm not going to go a 0.25 because I could imagine it did have a section that wasn't either aspirin or burnt rubber.
Yeah, but it was soggy and not.
It was soggy, wet tasting.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
moldy.
This could have been like the worst cigar we've ever smoked, I suppose. I don't know. We'd have to go back and look, but this one is not good. We also hated the Fidalgo. That got a less than 1 from both of us. But
yeah, I mean, the Cult Blood Red Moon always sticks out because I was expecting it to be
so
good.
The Odysseana Special got a 0.5 from both of us, so that one was also freaking nasty as hell. But yeah, I mean, there's been some that have been really bad.
We did finish it, though.
The Rico Baratos are pretty bad. I remember those. That was a rough couple episodes. But yeah, I don't know. Don't do this one. This one is not no bueno. No bueno.
Do not buy, please.
Yep. Otherwise, check us out. We got the full notes over on the Patreon. We've got Mike took actually some very artistic photos for our Instagram, so be sure to check those out. And otherwise, thank you for listening.
Be safe, have fun.